Hello folks and welcome back to Medieval Total War. I'm Stip and this is going to be part 49 of my early campaign where I'm playing as England. And in the last episode we did start our evacuation of our forces in the Levant, and sure enough the Byzantines did jump at that opportunity and they did start to mess with my territories of Antioch and Edessa. And then we ended up fighting a pretty big battle in Edessa. Well, I just had one stack and then they had like two stacks, I suppose. And we lost. We lost, but we did a lot of casualties against the Byzantines, and we do have now 60 men holding in Edessa. Now, this isn't my garrison that I wanted to hold my fortifications with. This is just the beleaguered survivors of that army. So I have a 3-man Hobblar unit. This is my general. And then 25 arquebusiers, and then 16 pikemen, 10 billmen, 4 longbowmen, and then a 3-man culverin crew. Now, I don't know if that means that they can fire their culverin with only 3 men. I am not sure, but yeah, that's a very small garrison. Now, it was mentioned to me by a viewer in my comment section of my last video that the AI will not attack fortresses. And that's a very interesting state. Specifically, he said that they won't attack fortresses with gun towers. Now, I don't know if that means, if he was saying that's all gun towers, or if it's just going to be the siege cannon towers, which I forgot to put in here in Palestine, or if it's just the culverin towers that I have here in Antioch and Tripoli, and then in Edessa. Now, just as a reminder, Edessa does not have any of the upgrades. I just kept it vanilla, so that I could kind of test out the variances if I had that opportunity. So that's interesting, right? Because if it's... Now, here's the thing. Like, they weren't attacking Edessa's fortress even without any gun towers at all, right? So, yeah, it's an interesting statement. And I guess we'll see, because right now, this is a very small garrison in Edessa. I think that... How big are these garrisons? So this is 72 men. No, that's a damaged garrison. 120 men. It's counting him. So 120 men for like my normal garrison size that I've been going with in this late game campaign, and this is going to be half that, right? So would this amount? Would that tempt the AI into attacking the fortress? I guess this will be the test, right? We will see, because I can't get anyone to Edessa in this turn to relieve it. So if it falls, it falls, but it's not going to fall naturally for at least 8 turns. So actually 9, that's 9 turns. Yeah, it's 8. And then it's going to do the, it's going to fall soon kind of thing. So what I can do is bring this army up to Antioch, and sure, that's going to leave Tripoli, exposed, but whatever. And that's fine. And, you know what I'm thinking, actually? So I'm seeing the 2 guns that I have here, the 2 culverins. I will say, so the culverins, yeah, they didn't perform that well for me in that last battle. And that could be attributed to a couple of things. It could be the terrain. It could be my personal targeting. It could be the fact that they really did cav rush me. They had like 3 or 4 cataphracts plus a few Pronomae Legion and a Byzantine cav unit, and it was a fair amount of cav, right? So it could be that, you would imagine that a artillery build would be a bit better against massed infantry. Also the fact that their general, who I think freaking survived, I think it's this fucking guy, Lord Zimiskis. Yeah, it's that tortured plus. Yeah, the +6 morale is insane, dude. That is so much morale. And plus the natural leader, +8 morale. And then it's... So for every 2 stars, it's 1 point of valor for everyone on the field. So, and every point of valor comes with 2 morale. Okay? So that's 2, 4, 6. 6 plus 8, so +14 morale for everyone on the battlefield, and then it's +1 valor for everyone within a certain radius of the guy. Now, I think he just retreated off the battlefield in the beginning of the battle because I never saw him there. But then I think that the Valor and the morale bonuses just kept on going. I think that's just how it works here in this game, which is pretty trash. That's really shitty, but that's just how it is. And yeah, I mean, that army just fought like demons, right? We saw that. And my army, you know, fought pretty well as well. And this general too, like the fact he's on a unit of Hoplars, you know, like not Cataphracts. And like his guys fought until there was only 3 left in his unit. So yeah, props to him and his men. And you know, they're solid. They were solid, right? Yeah, the good runner. That's oh god, I hate that so much. I hate that. I hate that's how that works. Like it was such a hard fought battle, you know. And he fought so well, and then he just gets remembered for the way he ran from the battlefield on more than one occasion. Perhaps he had no choice, but whispers among his men say otherwise. It's like, oh, fuck off. Like, god damn it, that sucks. But yeah. So what I'm thinking though is that maybe try out the Serpentines, and I have a few of these guys. Serpentines, and I think I can get them there. Maybe I can get them to Antioch. Yes, I can. And try them out because they fire faster, you know, so they have a faster firing rate, and maybe they're more accurate than the Culverins. I don't know. The Culverins are pretty accurate, but yeah, these just really shoot stuff downrange pretty quickly, and maybe they have longer range as well. I should really go back into the artillery stats one of these days and check these things out. But I think that maybe firing might have longer firing distance. Yeah, maybe. But we'll see. Now, I would expect the Byzantines to probably retreat from this. In fact, what I can also do, so my initial garrison that I had in Edessa was actually back home being retrained because I can't retrain these guys in the Levant. I don't have the right buildings for them because they were they were in Edessa and they were destroyed because it's those royal courts and baronial courts that get destroyed automatically when another faction invades. So I have to bring these guys back home to retrain them, which is yeah, that's problematic. For sure. That's a bit problematic. That's one of those things that kind of makes me think, okay, so how to sort of like, you know, like revise and retune this strategy going forward for future campaigns. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Something that I was just watching a few YouTube videos on English army strategy and makeup and everything about the 100 Years' War, and I know very little about that time period. I know a little bit more about the early medieval era, not so much about the high and the late medieval era. So, when it comes to late era English armies, all I really know is like longbows, and that's it, just that one word, longbows. I don't really know anything else about them and about the army and everything like that. I watched the movie The King with Timothée Chalamet. Like I've seen some stuff, I've seen, I read the Bernard Cornwell trilogy about the Archer dude. Wait, that was like fucking like 10, 15 years ago. Oh my God, so long ago. So like, I don't know. Those are kind of the things that I know about that 100 Years War time period. So not really much, right? But yeah, watching these videos that I just recently watched today, right before recording this, I was kind of like getting some more like a real understanding of how integral the archers or the longbowmen were to the English strategy. Like they weren't just like that unit that they kind of put on the flanks or whatever. They were they were everywhere, and they mounted them, and they were used everywhere. They were used on boats. They were used in sieges, defensive sieges, offensive sieges, field battles. Like they were just so ubiquitous, with that strategy, and obviously having the dismounted men-at-arms as well to support them. So as you can see, I'm kind of like formulating some ideas, right? I'm thinking, okay, longbowmen. That might be kind of cool instead, because it's like, it's our unit, right? It's the English unit, and I'm keeping it in my late game armies. It is here. It exists. They're here. But, I've kind of relegated them to that side role, I'm like, I'll have two in the army so that I can get some guns in here. That's, an artillery, right? That's what I've kind of gone with. And, maybe I'm having a change of heart. Maybe I'm thinking maybe a cool garrison would be sticking with the Royal Knights. I like that. I don't think I've ever used dismounted Royal Knights or Feudal Knights in a fight, and you can only use those in siege battles. So I really want to use them. I guess they're really badass swordsmen. Obviously, the low unit count kind of sucks, but I kind of want to see how they could hold up in a choke point, right, where those numbers don't matter for as much. You know, put them in a gateway and just see what they can do. I think that'd be kind of dope. And also, the longbowmen, you know, obviously have pretty awesome armor-piercing shots with their longbows, but they have axes too. So maybe instead I can reduce my numbers even further just by doing like 1 Royal Knight and 1 Longbowman. Maybe 2 Royal Knights and 1 Longbowman, because that would still reduce the numbers. Remember, each cavalry unit counts as double because it's counting having to feed the horse as well. So yeah, something that I'm thinking about. Wait a minute, no, because the Royal Knights they dismount to chivalric foot knights, not feudal foot knights. That's why I have the feudal knights, right? Oh, shoot. Okay, well, I'll have to think about that. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. But for here, we can just kind of go into Antioch, and I would imagine they just retreat. And then at that point, would I wait and see what happens here? If they don't attack during this end turn, I'm very tempted to. I'm very tempted just to kind of like hang out for a few turns to see if they finally attack. And yeah, we'll see, I guess, if you know. And if they just let it fall, I mean, I have an army right here that can just kind of swoop in at the last second and save everything. And if the Byzantines want to, you know, collapse it on Tripoli, that's fine. I have a garrison there. That's fine. In fact, I can move these culverins. Let's just get them out of here. You guys already have culverins? Yes, you do. I'll just bring them back home. Yeah, that's fine. That is a-okay. Now I have to try to destroy this galley here that belongs to the Byzantines. Well, I'll have a 2-star admiral and 2 barks here, so let's try to sink that boat. And I think that's the only Byzantine boat in the water, I think. I think other than that, we're looking pretty good here, yeah. We're looking okay. Now, something that is of concern is that my new king, who's still pretty young, 28 years old, 3 influence is pretty trash, right? And he's losing influence because he's losing territories, despite the fact that we're, you know, keeping people in the garrisons. You know, it's like, come on, give me that influence. Come on. He's not. We still have the territory, kind of. But so I guess I lost the governor of Ile-de-France in that last battle, and I don't know who that was. And it's interesting because this gives a command star. So who was it? Oh, I'm wondering if it was, because I had a couple of units, depleted units from the garrison that came out to, they were like my only couple like reinforcements during that battle. And one of them must have been a general. And then he died. That's my guess. I'm guessing that that's what it was. Okay, well, I was looking at this and thought I saw someone that could use, yeah, Sir Henry, no, not you. Although, yeah, 4 loyalty is not great, but you're already married into the family. I found someone who has an insane amount of acumen, who doesn't have a title. Where is he? It's not you. Ah, right. Yeah, it's you, Sir Thomas Camoy. Yeah, you have a ton. Is that 9? 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 acumen. I wonder if you were the governor of Antioch. In fact, we will be getting that back. You know what? I'm going to save you for that because I just found another guy. You, who has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 acumen. And yeah, you can be the governor of Ile-de-France. It would be nice giving him another command star for sure, but I don't know, making him the governor of Antioch feels very good. So I'm just going to be doing that. You'll be the new governor of Ile-de-France, and that is fine. So looking at here, we're making 413 without a governor. Then we give it to him. And then up to 744. Not a bad jump. Okay, let's go and end this turn, and let's see if the Byzantines want to stay and stand and take a fight here in Antioch. I do doubt it, unless they reinforce it from Assyria, perhaps. But I do have my doubts that they're going to want to stand and fight there. And then, yeah, with Edessa as well. Very curious. Are they going to be attacking that fortress? Man, the Danes are just going ham right now. And yeah, they're attacking. So no shit. So they are assaulting the fortress. So there we go. There is proof of that happening. Now, this fortress does not have gun towers, so we don't know if that's a possibility of the AI attacking a fortress with gun towers, but we do know that they will attack a fortress without gun towers. So yeah, very interesting. They have 408 men. They do have a bombard and a catapult. So that's going to be their only artillery. They have that one-man general who's just insane morale. And yeah, I mean, their army's pretty ragtag for sure, but like that, yes, so is mine. So we're mainly going to be depending on my fortification defenses to try to save me here, but I'm really excited. I'm really excited to play this. I just wish that I had like an actual like fighting garrison and not this just like this poor group right here. But yeah, I just want to see what the fortress can do. So yeah, let's go in here and see what happens. Okay, now I'm wondering if I've even seen a fortress before in this game, because this thing is insane. This fortress is crazy. First off, okay, so they have a bombard right there, and it's aimed right into the cliff face, and I don't know if it can angle up. I mean, it's not something, I don't know. I actually don't know if it's going to be able to hit my walls. That's really funny. It's like right there. Like, they could have put it, you know, like there or something. You know? Oh boy. Okay, and then there's a catapult there. Now, I have seen, while watching Count MRVHS's campaigns, I did see, I can't remember if he was defending a fortress or not, but the enemy had brought a ballista, and I remember thinking, like, what's a ballista gonna do against his, it was either a citadel or fortress, I can't remember what he was defending, but I remember thinking, like, yeah, what's a ballista gonna do? And then a single shot from the ballista did 7% damage on those walls. And just for like context, that's the same amount of damage that it does to that like wooden palisade wall for a fort. And I was like, I almost fell out of my chair laughing because that was so stupid. I'm like, what? The ballista, so the damage isn't a scale. It's just the same amount. Like a ballista spear will still do 7% damage to like this. And so the ballista actually took down a section of the wall, and I could not stop laughing. I still need to write Count MRVHS, you know, telling him that how funny I thought that was, because I never told him. I don't know if he knows how funny that is. Because yeah, that's the same amount. Like it didn't scale at all. It's so silly. Anyway, so here we are. And so there's a catapult, right? It's a catapult, right? Looks like a ballista. No, that's it. Okay, that's a catapult. So that I'm sure can arch its shots and hit something. And for them, I wonder what it is. Is it like 12% damage? I'm not sure, but I guess we'll find out soon. And yeah, I mean, what do I have for my defenses? It's all arrow towers. Do I have okay, I have gun towers. I do. Interesting. And this is despite the fact that I don't have any gun technology in Edessa, I don't think. So ballista tower, interesting. So I got some ballistas, arrow towers, and gun tower. Yeah, I got some gun towers back there. And man, there's so much. And so just to kind of give you guys a little tour for this. So this is like, you know, how these things, I know so little about defensive technology in the Middle Ages. I really need to pick up a big book and learn more about this. But I do know about this, about how they designed, you know, the gatehouses to be off center so that you couldn't just kind of walk straight on through them. And so this is how it is. It's really cool. Like you walk in through here, where do you go? Well, you have to kind of go on a journey and walk by this gauntlet of arrow towers all the way through here until you get to, where is it? Okay, there's another gatehouse on the outside, and there it is. So that's like the only inner gate, I think. So they would have to come all the way around here to get through that gate. That's the second gate they'd have to get through, and that's just the second layer. Then you have to get through here and get through this gate, which is center on. So that's a little, you know, not ideal that it's just straight on like that, but still, whatever, you know. And yeah, then I'm pretty sure the keep will be shooting arrows at them as well. So yeah, I mean, again, it's too bad that I don't have more men here. Do I just keep the culverin there? I mean, of all places to stand and shoot, as long as I don't hit my own walls, you know, that would be so stupid. Honestly, I might just leave that there, but yeah, the rest of these guys, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I am pretty sure the way this works is that the I think that each layer of defenses continues to fire as long as there's someone out here. I think that's how that works. But then what turns off the outer layer of defenses? I can't remember. But I think to turn off... Or no, this, I think having people in here keeps the outer defenses firing, and then having people in here keeps this layer of defenses firing. I think that's how that works, right? Yeah, that makes more sense. Got it. Okay. Okay, I've changed my mind. I'm just going to be having my culverin back here. Have it try to be as straight on to that gate as possible. And maybe I can just fire right down there. Maybe I want that. I don't know. I might friendly fire my own gatehouse, but if it's already been... I mean, obviously I'd have it on hold fire until they enter, so I guess that should be fine. And then having these guys here, this is going to be my only people in the outer layer, just to keep the outer walls firing for as long as possible. And then just have them withdraw back to the inner layer. And while they're withdrawing, again, that should count for keeping the outer towers firing for as long as possible, right? And then on the inner layer, again, going pretty light, but just having the pikemen hold the gate, and then having my 4 longbowmen provide cover fire. And then on the inner section will be my the most concentration of forces, my 10 billmen, my 25 arquebusiers, and my 3-man hoblars. I am stoked to fight this. And were they able to arc their shots? I think they were. I think the bombard actually arced its shot. Let me see. Let me check it again. And I hear people dying, so I think my towers must be able to shoot them from here. So that's that, and then... Yeah, so the bombard is getting shot, so they are able to arc their shots, yeah, okay. Lucky bastards. So, yeah, they're not going through the gatehouse at all. Those smart fuckers. They're just going for this long section of wall here that's not... technically guarded by towers, but they're, wait a minute, can they even get through there? Because that's impassable, right? Wait a minute, are they opening up a part? I mean, maybe they can like hug this little piece of grass right here, maybe that's the plan, but okay, I guess we'll find out. Their gun exploded. So that's it for that. So their only artillery left is now their catapult crew. And so that's 93% damage. So I'm sure they could get through there. And then we're at 55% on this side. And is our arrow tower shooting at their... No, looks like my arrows are shooting at the handgunners perhaps.
To the defenses!
There's the breach, and they did create that breach in an area where they could get through here. And now they're launching... What are they shooting at now? What are they aiming at? My inner wall? Yeah, I guess there's nothing stopping them from doing that. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of forget about those things where I'm like, oh yeah, they don't have to go through the gates. They can just knock shit down. Will they have enough ammo to do that though? I'm skeptical of that. And here comes the first unit setting foot into my fortress, the outer layer here. And this was a 100-man unit of spears. I'm pretty sure this was a 100-man unit of spears. So they're already down to 83 men, so they're losing guys here. Byzantine infantry are coming up as well. Oh, actually no, that's only a 5-man unit of Byzantine infantry and a 37-man unit of spearmen. So, and the catapult, is it still firing or is it... I think the fact that it only has 2 catapult crewmen left might mean that it can't shoot anymore, perhaps? And then where... Ooh, I forgot to be... You guys gotta be... Oh, you guys can't shoot. Yeah, okay, so 3 men is not enough for these guys to be shooting. Well, in that case, you guys can just bugger off then. Go over here. Can I not... Alright, so now that I detach them, I think I can tell them to leave. What are you guys doing? I told you guys to leave. What if I tell you to withdraw? Damn. Seriously? I can't... I thought if I detached them by telling them, like, giving them an attack order, that I could tell them to go back, but, huh. I guess that's not how that works. Interesting. I thought there was a way to do that. Maybe there still is, and I just did it wrong. As you can tell, I don't use artillery that much. But I think that means that we're gonna be losing our outer towers, I think. But man, our towers did a bit of damage to them already. And I always liked the animation of the torches being tossed down upon them by the, you know, the invisible people on top of the walls, just manning the walls. You can kind of imagine the garrison or the populace, you know, just tossing shit down on them. Doesn't do a lot of damage. It kills one like every once in a while, but yeah, it's not that common. And I'm not hearing these like... Yeah, gun towers don't seem to be shooting. I want to watch this gun tower, and it seems like... Yeah, I don't like it when my inner towers damage my outer walls. That's really haggard. So is this going to be start... Yeah, so that arrow tower shooting. Yeah, that's good. And now we're going to get shots from this gun tower. Is that angle going to be good enough for it? Well, the gun towers haven't done anything, so they must be within the range of those towers. But now we got burning oil pouring on these guys. And yeah, these poor fuckers are going to be really struggling with that gate now. And because they're still receiving fire from the arrow towers and getting burning oil poured on them as well. Yeesh. Wouldn't want to be those guys. And then they just have a row of pikes standing behind that gate. Oh, you guys are reloading as well? Ooh, I don't know if that's... I don't know if I want you on fire at will right now. I don't want you to hit your own dudes. And with 2 men remaining, this spearman unit finally did break. Man, that general and his leadership abilities is really something. This Byzantine infantry doesn't really know what they want to do here. They're just going to stand here and take shots at my arrow towers. And this spearman also is not too sure what it wants to do. But yeah, as you can see, it hasn't taken any casualties. Oh, it took its first casualty from that torch being tossed at it. It's funny. Yeah, it's not. They don't do a lot. They don't do a lot. But I think if these units leave my outer wall and they retreat back, I think I would send someone back out here just to reman these towers essentially and get them to be, you know, start returning fire on the enemy again. And really, I mean, we've gone through a lot of the game timer. So they would have to pick up the pace if they want to achieve victory here. Now that last spearman unit has been pushed back, I'm going to be sending my longbowmen out of this gate just to sort of recapture this outer defenses and try to turn these back on, because now they are sending up a unit of handgunners. And I would like to be able to get some shots on... Yeah, there we go. On those handgunners, and then these handgunners as well. And let me check on these guys. So yeah, they're outside in the outer layer, so my towers now should go back to firing. Are you back to firing? I hope you are. Let me try to look for arrows coming from this tower. I'm not seeing any, but it might just be because the troops are out of range. Let me check on this arrow tower over here. Now, it doesn't appear like these towers are shooting, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm not sure. Can they be recaptured or can they not be turned back on? I'm not too sure. But there's the man himself. The man, the myth, the legend. The guy that just basically conquered Edessa by retreating and letting his army do all the work. But looks like he got stuck on some terrain. So hopefully that's how he dies. Just stuck on the bottom of a cliff right there. And yeah, these guys are getting shot at by my inner layer. Not my outer layer, I don't think. Let's go ahead and try to get a volley or two into these approaching handgunners before they get here. Can we get another volley in? Nope, can't pick up any of those guys, eh? Yes, the longbowmen just aren't as good as they say they are. None of these handgunners, though. Can you guys get back inside those gates before those guys show up? Come on. Come on, you're running, right? Told you to run. Get back there. Get back there and make sure this gate closes behind you. Come on, close. Close, close. There. Okay, phew, that was close. Alright, yeah, there's only 33% of this gate is damaged, and I highly doubt those 6 handgunners are going to be able to get the job done here, so... What do we have? Some Pavias crossbows? Getting torches thrown down at them, and how's our favorite general doing? Is he hanging out? Yeah, he's just hanging out. It looks like my arrow towers are shooting at him, so... Even though he's just a, you know, he's a tank, I wonder if a lucky arrow wouldn't be able to slip through a gap and end his miserable existence.
The enemy general is dead.
Yes.
Unfortunately slain
Yes.
before the pox.
That is it. Yes, he got taken out, and that's it. The army's had enough. That man and his command and his leadership was the only thing holding this ragtag army together. And now with him gone, they're like, nope, that's it. That's it. We've had enough. I wonder, would I be so bold to send my 3 Alblars to go out and chase these guys? No, I don't think I thought about it for a second, but these guys aren't like fully broken. So I feel like they would just turn around and kill my general, honestly. So, yeah. Let's just hang out and watch them flee. And there we have it. Yeah, we only lost the 3 men in the Culverin crew, and that is it. Doesn't count the kills for the fortification itself, so I guess we don't know how much men they lost. But if I had actually looked at that, I think they started with like 400 men. So if I counted, and yeah, the Byzantines are going to be retreating from Antioch, as to be expected. And what do we have here? So the Aragonese are going to be retreating from Castile. Did the Danes already owned it? So the Aragonese just started a war against the Byzantines. And yeah, we sunk the Byzantine boat here in the Maritime Sea. And I meant the Danes, not the Byzantines. They're starting to war against the Danes, not the Byzantines. And yeah, so this is going to be another... Okay, yeah, this is Edessa. Got it. So this is going to be a long time before they fall. And good assault defender, yeah. Damn straight he is. So +1 command when in this situation. When defending castles. So that makes him, what, a 7-star general when he's defending castles, I think? Maybe. +1 morale for John Wolfstan. And +1 morale for Alfred Plantagenet. Okay, alright. Alright, I think that's my, one of my kings. Is it uncle or older brother? Older brother, perhaps? Yeah, okay, so that was cool. I got to see that in action. And so, yeah, they have 122 men. Did they have 400 before? Did they lose that much? Holy moly. Okay, alright. Alrighty then. So I'm tempted to... let's see here. What do I want to do about this? Because I have these people here that I want to bring back to garrison Edessa. So I kind of want to reconquer it so that I can put these people back in their place and garrison it. But I also kind of have some ideas, regarding, well, what I was just talking about with regards to having maybe a longbowman, like just one longbowman and two, I don't know. I have to think about that. Also, during the intern, the Danes have taken Tanai. Now, it looks like they might have already had a garrison here, but now they're bribing the rebels. So yeah, that is interesting. The Danes have come to us, rather than us having to decide how we are going to be attacking them, which at this point I was wondering if I was even going to have time or the ability to. Now I'm wondering, okay, now can I defend against the Danes? Because here they are. They are now my official neighbors on land as well. And they have boats in the water, so, I mean, my Navy is probably better. Let me look. What do they have? Do they have caravels? Yes, they have barks. Sure. Longboats. Longboats are cheap, but they're not like anything special when it comes to their abilities as combat boats. They're fast, but they're not as fast as Dromons. So yeah, they're interesting. 1, 1, and 3. I think that's less than the barks. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. They have less defense, but they're cheap. And the Danes, I think the Danes, one of these provinces gives valor to longboats, correct? Or am I wrong about that? Yeah, longboats trained in Denmark have a +1 valor bonus, so I guess that makes them better than the barks, I suppose. But do they have any, like, really scary units? Like, do they have any cogs? Do they have any carracks? Because if not, then I would probably trounce them. Because I do have those boats. I have quite a few of them. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Also, they haven't really been attacking actual factions. They've been attacking a lot of rebel factions. So I wonder if they would continue to do that. And then, yeah, avoid conflict with me. Yeah, I'm not seeing any scary cogs or anything like that. But yeah, they have a lot of boats, for sure. Yeah, they do have a lot of boats, but I'm pretty confident that we could win quite a few of these fights if it ever came down to it. Yeah, no cogs, no carracks, okie dokie. So there is that. What about soldiers? What do they have? Yeah, anything too crazy? Nothing too crazy that I'm seeing there. Vikings, sure, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. You know, the Vikings are a solid unit for the early game, and you know they do scale well because they are an armored piercing unit, so there is that. But other than that, it's pretty normal stuff, I suppose. Yeah, they're not too heavy on the cavalry. A lot of Vikings, a lot of infantry. Interesting. My Serpentines might have something to say about that if they ever wanted to march to war against me. Yeah, that could be interesting. Well, for now, let's go ahead and finish, or let's just invade Edessa. Do I want to do this? I think I do. Yeah, I want to reestablish, right, that's right. I have to remind myself, I'm going to be reestablishing this garrison here. And I am bringing longbowmen. I'm going to be transferring out one of my feudal knights and one of my royal knights, and then just doing one longbowman. And that'll be less men, and maybe that'll be more likely to entice the enemy into attacking me, maybe? Oh, right, and before I forget, you are going to be getting Antioch, right? Yes, you are. So Antioch's making 4 grand. Now on very high taxes, is making over 5 grand. And then with him, it's making 9,700,000. That's crazy. That is a big jump. And Almost 25,000 per turn? Holy shit. That's so much money. That's even without Edessa. Alright, here we are. Want to get some turns in this episode. Already it's been taking a while, but it was worth it for getting that battle in. I was so stoked for that. And sure enough, the Byzantines are going to be retreating here from Edessa, and that's to be expected. I really don't see the Byzantines having much left to pursue this fight. In fact, now that I've reclaimed Edessa, I'd be curious to see if they would take a ceasefire. You know, I killed a bit of the troops. I took their best punch. And yeah, here we have the rebels are going to be retreating here from Sinai. Yeah, the Danes are just coming in hot. Let's see here. Catching Byzantine spies here in Palestine. Bring it on, boys. Here we are a few turns later, and the Byzantines have reinvaded Edessa. So yeah, this is going to be my smaller garrison now of only 120 men, whereas before it was, oh gosh, I can't remember. Was it 240? I don't know. But I think that I'm pretty sure it's smaller. And yeah, we'll see if that entices them to attack again. That would be nice. Now, this is going to be a 3-star general, and yeah, I guess we don't know anything else about him other than he is a 3-star general. And then, yeah. He has, 683 men? Nothing too crazy, but yes, a handful of Pavis crossbows. And then, yeah, peasants, nothing too crazy there. Then no reserves. And as for artillery, they just have the 1 mangonel with 6 crewmen, which I don't know how many are required to fire a mangonel. But it's a big machine, so I'm curious about that. In any case, yeah, we will just be retreating to the stronghold. There we go. And Antioch too, so a little bit of a double whammy here. Got it. Okay. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-star general, Lord Comnenus, and 439 men, so a smaller army, but they have some Byzantine infantry, a full strength unit there, so that's right there, a bit stronger, right? And then the rest of it's pretty ragtag. An 87-man unit of spearmen, 2 horse archers, which is, you know, something. And then for artillery, 2 bombards and 1 catapult. And I would say that they all have enough men to man them. So yeah, that's something there. That's interesting. And Antioch does have a fortress with culverin towers to it as well. So a bit more firepower to it. Let's retreat back to the stronghold, and we'll just keep an eye on it and see what happens here. So the Danes attacked Valencia, but then they retreated. Interesting. I mean, they have a lot of guys there in Castile, like a lot of guys in Castile. Oh shit. They're attacking Toulouse as well. Ooh, they are really my neighbor now. Okay, yeah. Wow. Okay, so that gives me something to think about. The Aragon is my ally. And I am the richest, yes. And the Sicilians are still exist? Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. They exist where they don't usually hang out. So before I lose my train of thought, Danish assassins in Palestine, okay. And then Byzantine spies in Palestine as well. Sure. Byzantine spies. And Danish assassins. And then Prince Henry has come of age. Now I'm curious, is this my king's son? I'm looking forward to finding out, because Prince Stephen is my younger brother, I think. And he's the one with low loyalty. Alright, okay, that's not a good start. Secret blackmailer means that he's going to be losing 3 loyalty later on, which is not great. And then Great Warrior, that's, yeah, plus 5 health is solid. Lord Holland, oh, that sucks. Yeah, that's the eager to retreat for retreating back to the stronghold. So yeah, -2 morale, but that's not going to matter for castle fighting. But then -1 loyalty as well, that's kind of rough. And then famously brave. Oh, sure. He gets famously brave for retreating back to the fortress. That's not fair at all. That's not fair. +1 valor, +1 morale. That's not bad for retreating back to the fortress. Did the same exact thing. He got the opposite reward. So yeah, 4 loyalty, not great. Not great. I do have a princess who she's an option. Prop up that loyalty a little bit. Yeah, that's something I could do. Yeah, so we got 5 turns before that falls, and then yeah, 5 turns as well, and then yeah, this one has the Culverin Towers. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they want to do. Your move, Byzantines. And yeah, the Danes finally took Arabia, but that was not an easy fight for them. They had to assault that many times and then bribe some of the armies there. The old Spanish rebels were really resilient there in the desert. So yeah, this Danish Empire. So right, yeah, I was gonna lose my train of thought. The Danes are my neighbors here in Toulouse. How long for? So 4 turns for that falls. This is a citadel. It's not the biggest force, but you know, probably still force its way in potentially. Well, I don't know. It has just 1 ballista. That's our only artillery piece. Ugh, that's pretty trash. And they are excommunicated as well. So what I'm thinking, since my king has low influence, and a way to get that influence back is to relieve sieges of my allies. But that would involve declaring war against who is probably the most powerful faction in the map right now. Am I ready to do that? Oh boy, that is a big ask. I have a lot of troops. I mean, our navies can wreck theirs. Jeez Louise, that would be big. And yeah, okay, so like, let's look at it this way as well. So their king is here in Toulouse. If I cut them off somehow using my navies, what do they have here? A caravel, so 2 caravels, and then 0 command stars. I just have the 2 barks, 0 command stars. Yeah, well, I have boats here. I have caravels and carracks here. And I could go after these boats in the Western Mediterranean. But the thing is that once I start that war, that means that every single sea region where we have both of our boats, even if I'm not sinking their boats, I'm still blockading their, well, in this case, their king's influence. So their king's influence would not be reaching anywhere else, essentially, just by declaring war against them. As long as I have boats blocking that route. And I think that does that like immediately tank loyalty by a couple pips? It might. But I also kind of have a feeling that their loyalty is probably really good because their king's influence is probably really good. How old is their king? He's 45, and yeah, he has insane influence. King of Valdemar, is that Valdemar the 4th? 2nd, okay. Oh, yeah, okay, man, that is a big ask, but at the same time, I feel like it's like kind of now or never, you know? Not that I have to, like, man, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. But here is the thing. It's not, at this point, it's not so much about the points as it is about my actual, like, existential military, like, can I survive the Danes if they turn their attentions to me? That's more of what we're looking at right now. And it's not so much a question of like, oh my God, can I, like, will they catch up? Maybe not. Maybe not that, like in 2 counting periods, probably not. But then if they were to turn all of their military force and attention onto me, can I hold? And that could be an interesting thing to try to find out. Yeah. Yeah, very tempted. Very, very tempted to send down. What do you have here? So it's the king, then a unit of chivalric knights, and then some Spanish genites. What's the terrain like if I attack from Aquitaine into Toulouse? So flatland to hills, so they would have the height advantage. What about Anjou? Same thing, probably. This just says hills. So that kind of makes it seem like I would have hills on my side as well. Which is interesting because, like, looking at the map, it looks like it doesn't have any hills on my side. Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't be able to attack in this turn. I would have to move an army down to Anjou or Aquitaine first before moving in, but yeah, it's very, very tempting. For this turn, since I don't have to commit to anything, what I'm just going to be doing is posturing up here in Anjou, just because we have the hills here that we can possibly position our artillery on in an event of an attack. And then, yeah, just wait and see, just wait a turn and see if the Aragonese can hold out here. Does their king here? No, they have a 4-star general, but their king is elsewhere. He is here in Valencia. Okay. He's pretty vulnerable there. He has 2 sons here in Aragon. Okay. Okay, interesting. Yeah. So I don't have to commit to anything. I'll just posture there. And then here I have an army posturing in Tripoli. Again, just kind of hanging out and seeing if these armies want to attack there. And yeah, the Byzantines look pretty bare bones. Although I said that just a few turns ago, so they may have bounced back pretty quickly, but yeah, we'll see about that. In any case, let's keep moving on here. And I'm very curious, will the Aragonese hold out for this turn? Because if they do, man, they might just force my hand, and yeah, I might seize this opportunity to. Gosh, could I even capture the Danish king? That would be interesting. I don't know if I'd want to execute him or not. Getting 10 grand is like really dope in the early game, but right now it's like, oh, 10 grand. But that also means taking 10 grand from the Danes, but they're also super rich, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it really matters. Let's see, I lost an assassin chasing agents, and I did kill the Byzantine priest here in Palestine, and yeah, sunk 2 boats? Oh, I thought it was just the 1 boat there. Okay. And then, yeah, we got some unrest in Livonia. Take that, Danes. And then the Swiss have been killed. Oh, shit. I wasn't even paying attention to that. Was that against the Italians, I reckon? And the Pope has died as well. Okay, so the Danish excommunication has been lifted. Okay. And that's it for the Poles. All right, so they've been gobbled up by the Italians, I think. But you know what that means. Possibility of a reemergence. Yeah, like seriously, that could really wreck the Danish steppe territories if there were a Polish reemergence up in that region. While I am fairly certain that I'm going to be attacking the Danes in this turn, I'm not going to be doing it during this episode, just because it seems like it could be just a big enough battle to make this episode go a bit too far over my time limit. So yeah, it looks like they have 460 here. So 760, over 800 people in that army. It's not nothing, you know, it's not nothing. So it could be a decent fight actually, and that's going to be left until next time. So before I go, I just wanted to say that if you're enjoying these videos and you would like to support the channel, then consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. It all helps immensely. So until next time, this has been Connor playing Medieval Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.